standing alone, burn it up. Without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue.
I didn't mean to call you Meatloaf, Jack! An American Werewolf in London is a 1981 horror comedy directed by John Landis, and it stars David Naughton and Griffin Dunne as a group of American tourists that come over to England and discover that werewolves are very real and very deadly. I saw this film a couple years ago for the first time, and when I first saw it, I was iffy on it, especially because of the ending, which is so... I don't even want to spoil it, it's just abrupt. But I've seen it several times since, and I can, happily say that An American Werewolf in London is one of my favorite films. I know I say that a lot, but I really mean it with American Werewolf in London. This is such an entertaining movie. And it's because it is, yes, a horror film, but it's also a comedy too. At times, it can feel like a dark, gritty, gory film. But in other times, it almost feels like a National Lampoon movie. It's really over the top in some scenes, but it's awesome. So, this film is directed by John Landis, whom you may know was the director of Animal House, which is a full-blown comedy, and because of this film, he also directed Michael Jackson's Thriller music video, go figure, especially those werewolf scenes, obviously. So, to me anyways, this is one of the greatest werewolf films ever made. Most people say it is the greatest, but to me it's really neck and neck with the original Wolfman film that came out back in the 40s. There actually are some references to that movie in American Werewolf, and that's great to see because it truly pays homage to the werewolf genre. It came out in 1981, the same year as The Howling, so that year really invoked an interest in werewolves for the general public, and I'm glad because werewolves are such cool creatures. So like I said, it follows two guys who come over from America to London, and very quickly they encounter a werewolf, ending actually in one of their deaths, which leads their spirit to haunt the other as a ghost in limbo until the werewolf's curse is lifted by basically David having to commit suicide in order to not murder people as a werewolf. Jack returns, tells him, "You're a werewolf and you must die," because he was bitten by a werewolf at the beginning of the movie. So John Landis wrote this film when he was rather young, I think like 16 or something, and he waited quite a while until he made this movie. And I can certainly see the passion he put into American Werewolf. This is truly a great film. I love just the character growth of David in the movie and how he changes back and forth on his identity as a werewolf, as a human. And I love the character of Jack because he is kind of this foreboding warning that David needs to make a decision on his life. And the werewolf effects. Oh, man. I love me some special effects. You could not get better than An American Werewolf in London. Really, this film and John Carpenter's The Thing are the best two uses of practical effects. They are so amazing. Rick Baker did the makeup and the special effects work on American Werewolf, and it really shows. He is an expert at this stuff. There is the classic transformation scene, which is very iconic, especially nowadays looking back. It's such a great way of introducing the werewolf, and when you see the werewolf in little glimpses, you don't see it full out that much. It really adds to the mystery of the story. It's really incredible. I love all of the werewolf scenes, but it mostly focuses on the human aspect, which I really like. It is about the characters at heart, and I really think that's an important thing for a movie to have. to focus on the characters, but also understanding what makes it so horrific. We see this character that we love, but we know he's going to turn into the monster that we all hate. It's really quite dynamic, and I love how it plays out. Like I said, the ending's very abrupt, and you kind of wish there's more, but I actually think it works to the advantage of the film, because stuff happens like that, and you kind of have to take life as it hits you in the face. All the aspects of the film are really cool. I really love the slaughtered lamb and the English people inside of the bar that are kind of werewolf hunters, and they know the werewolf curse more than anybody. It's really cool to see their characters interact with the American tourists, and especially even the nurse character interacting with David is quite nice to see the balance of those different characters. The werewolf effects are great. I love the soundtrack, not just the original score by Elmer Bernstein, but also all of the films that are moon-themed. It's really fun to hear, and this film will go down as one of the best horror films, and probably the best werewolf film of all time. Really, there's not much more I can say. I'm giving American Werewolf in London a 5 out of 5 skulls on the R.I.P. Reviews rating scale. Thank you very much for watching this review. What do you think about An American Werewolf in London? And remember, for all things Halloween, this
full moon is hauntformer.
I'm just kidding, I'm not really a werewolf, but it'd be cool if I just kind of... no, that'd be horrible.